Today we have Laura Kelly here to present to us, and most of us know her or know of her. She was gracious enough to type me a bio, so I'm going to read it quickly to give her as much time as possible here. Laura Kelly is the executive director with Holston Habitat for Humanity and has served in the role for the last 5.5 years. Under her leadership, Holston Habitat has established and scaled a critical home repair, increased the number of homes built per year, and expanded programming to include disaster recovery. Since 2021, the number of families served annually has increased by 3,000%. Laura was awarded the Habitat Tennessee Leader of the Year Award in 2024, and the organization has been awarded Tennessee Affiliate of the Year in both 2023 and 2025. Laura also serves as the vice chair of the Johnson City Regional Planning Commission, and when she's not at the helm of the Habitat, Laura spends time hiking, camping, playing volleyball, and gardening. Thank you. Come on up.
Thanks. Well, hey everybody. How we doing? We awake? We ready? I promise to try to entertain you and give you an update, but we're not going to take ourselves too seriously today. You know me. I'm the executive director with Holston Habitat. It's good to see you. It's good to be a member of Kiwanis, and it's good that you're patient with me and don't give me too much trouble for showing up when I can. What's going on at Holston Habitat? So you guys have heard updates about the organization over the years, but Habitat's been around for now 41 years, and there's been a lot of change over the last couple of years. So I just thought I would give you an update and, of course, show our beloved Carter family. Let's see. Maybe I need. Is it? Oh, it is. Okay. All right. So you know the mission. We are seeking to put God's love into action by bringing people together to build homes, communities, and hope. At the end of the day, this isn't rocket science. We just believe that everybody deserves a good and decent place to live. So this is a ministry in action where we just show up for each other. I did just want to reiterate, I think I updated you all, but we expanded our service area to now also include Unicoi County. There was a really small volunteer-run affiliate there for many years, and they were fizzling out, and we just recognized a void of services for those residents, especially after Hurricane Helene. So our service area now is Sullivan, Carter, Washington, Unicoi, and Bristol, Virginia, which means we answer to about 13 different municipalities and their building departments, which is super fun for us. But really, we just build to the highest code and then a little above that. So everybody's happy. Okay, so all of us have become more aware over the last 5 and 10 years of housing becoming a significant problem, and that regular working families can't really afford a place to live anymore. And why is that? Well, we could talk a lot about real estate, but I just want to share some very recent numbers from our regional expert, Don Fenley, who works a lot with NETAR. He's our kind of market housing guru. And so in one of his most recent publications, he showed this breakdown, which I know is really difficult to read, but I just wanted to reiterate some of the main takeaways from this. He studied the median housing prices, median household income, moving from 2019 to present day. So when we look at Kingsport, Bristol, those metro areas are typically categorized together. Johnson City is separate, and then Greenville. Since 2019, the Greater Tri-Cities house prices increased 85%. That's pretty significant. Have the wages kept up with that? No, not quite. So in the Kingsport, Bristol area, household income average has increased 45%. In Johnson City, average has increased 24%, and in Greenville, it's 52%. So it already was hard in 2019 to get a house that you could afford, and now it's exponentially harder because of the crunch we're experiencing in the market. We don't have an inventory, and we especially don't have inventory at the $200,000 to $350,000 range, which is really your workforce housing. Families are having to put so much more down to be competitive. Interest rates make it challenging. Credit scores can be tricky for lower income families. So we just have all of these different dynamics playing together at the same time, making it challenging for regular working people and seniors on a fixed income to get a home that they can afford. So I just wanted to reiterate that, because this mission of getting people into homes that they can afford, it is more important now than ever, because what will happen is we've got bank tellers, we've got CNAs, we've got teachers, police officers, regular people who can't buy a house. And that's a cornerstone of the American dream. We want people to be able to build equity and build wealth, and that's how you get new opportunities in your life, right? That's a part of thriving, getting the opportunity to build wealth. So that's the big picture, the mission. We've got a lot of work to do, but we're not stopping anytime soon. So I just wanted to give a couple of updates about what's going on at the ministry today. So we're getting a new office. I'll start there. As you know, as many of you know, we've been located in the former parsonage of Colonial Heights Presbyterian Church for 40 years, which has worked for us. It's been a good space. They're great partners of ours, but we've outgrown it. And so we purchased a building which used to be Hammond's HVAC at the end of the Wilcox Court cul-de-sac. So if you think of where Wheeler's Bagels was, man, am I disappointed that they closed right as I'm getting ready to move in and have a lunch spot within walking distance of the office. We purchased this building in November. It's currently undergoing renovation, so you can see that on the left. We've got an electrical crew. We've got drywall that's going up hopefully in the next 2 weeks. We've purchased all of our office furniture. We're just really excited for this transition, because we will have about 6,000 square feet more in this new building than what we have now. So we finally will have some storage space, some warehouse space, enough offices for our team, room for expansion. So excited for the future. Also, having multiple restrooms, so these things are nice upgrades. So I'll be sure to invite you all when we have kind of a groundbreaking, a housewarming party. I'd love for you all to come and check it out. Next, I wanted to update you on what's going on with Hurricane Helene. So as you know, Hurricane Helene struck in 2027 in September 27th of 2024. And we've been really busy since fundraising and just cannonballing into critical home repair projects. We recognized pretty early on that a mortgage was not the solution for families that just lost everything. But what we could do is a repair program totally free of cost. We were really, we're so grateful that we received over $2 million in contributions from grants and private donors towards these recovery efforts, which really allowed us to invest heavily in some of these repairs. Because when you think about it, if your home was invaded by more than 18 inches of water, you're replacing everything. You're going down to the studs. You're doing all your mechanicals, your electrical, your HVAC, your plumbing, your cabinets, your flooring, your insulation, your drywall. Your everything is being replaced. Not to mention any grading, any exterior work that needs to be done to reroute the way that your land might look now. So where a typical habitat repair might be $10,000 to $20,000 investment in our regular programs, we had a couple of homes exceed $90,000 because you're basically rebuilding the house. So to call some of these repairs feels a little bit like a misnomer because we worked on them for 6 months. We did complete over 35 critical home repairs. We have 5 more in progress. We also did launch about 6 months ago a new build program for Helene survivors, and that is actually a mortgage-free program. Habitat doesn't typically do that. This is a pretty extenuating circumstance. So because we had such generosity given to us, it just felt like the right thing to do to offer this real hand up to Helene survivors. So we're working with the Amish and the Mennonites, and Lord, they can work. They are so good and have so much integrity. It's just been a real pleasure working with the long-term recovery groups and all the different agencies and churches that have stepped up to meet the needs of our community members. We'll continue working on this until the work is done and the money is spent. So this will bleed into 2027. I imagine our work will really scale back in early 2027, but again, we'll be here until the last family is served. So there's not an official end date. Just a couple of visuals. Let me go back. A couple of visuals for the scale of some of these projects. So this photo on the left and right, this is a house on A.J. Willis Road down in Jonesboro. So this was right on the river. The road is washed away. It was just recently reconstructed. But you can see we begin this renovation thinking it's going to be one thing. You remove the flooring and you see, oh, this floor system is a lot of patchwork. The half the house is sitting on dirt, half of the foundation is washed out. So it just became a pretty major endeavor. You can see our guys down there. I mean, we ended up having to do a pretty extensive system of girders and piers. And now we feel really pleased that the family is moving into a really safe house. We wouldn't have felt good buttoning it up any other way. So some pretty extensive projects. And just one more example, this was for Jackie. We basically had to rebuild her modular home on the river in Irwin. She was another one where we had to use multiple funding sources to get that over the finish line. So really thankful that we could be available and there to support these families. Okay, next, a long-awaited update on our neighborhood in Johnson City. So this project has been in the works for a couple of years. This is a great example of municipal and private and nonprofit partnership. So the city of Johnson City owned a 3-acre parcel in the heart of Johnson City, just down the hill from Science Hill. So if you're going down John Exum and you come kind of to the bottom of the hill before you hit Market Street, on your left, that cross street at the bottom of the hill is called Moreland Drive. You take a left, and immediately on your left, there's this rolling hill, a 3-acre parcel. So the city gave us that piece of property, which is huge because the cost of building a neighborhood, we have grants and donors that typically want to fund new houses, but it is extremely difficult to find funding for infrastructure and road development. People just don't really want to fund a road. It's not as fun as helping a family, even though that's a critical piece of getting a neighborhood over the finish line. So we actually just met with our contractor this week. It'll be about $1.3 million to get the road built before it's all said and done. And our design has changed a little bit, which is why we had essentially a 1-year delay on this project. So we will now have 4 single-family homes and 4 duplexes. So anywhere ranging from a 2-bedroom to a 4-bedroom. We may have 1 5-bedroom on this property. But we're excited about our first endeavor into duplexes and getting more comfortable in the multifamily housing circuit. That is going to become a necessity moving forward because land is a finite resource. And being on the Planning Commission, we talk a lot about density where it's appropriate and needed. So excited about that, and it actually created some larger lot sizes for these families. So I think it's going to be a really beautiful neighborhood. We'll break ground and start moving dirt this summer. I'm hoping to be framing up something before the holidays. And then we'll really be pushing phase 1 of home construction next spring. So I imagine February through June is going to be busy. We'll be doing 5 units. And then phase 2, once those are completed, we'll do the remaining 7. And alongside of those 7, we are going to build out this public park. So you see that little design down there. That is actually just a way to cover the stormwater retention pods underground so that we didn't have to do just a pond that your HOA would have to maintain and it's not pretty to look at. So we're building out the park and then conveying it back to the city so that Parks and Rec can maintain it. We're excited about this model. I think it can be something that can be copied and pasted in other places. And I do want to give a shout out to Washington County. The county gave us $300,000 to help with development costs. So again, it's a great example. The city supported the work with the land. The county provided $300,000. We privately fundraised and pursued grants, and we can all take a little piece of this home with us, knowing that 12 families are going to be impacted. So I just wanted to show you a picture of what some of these houses will look like. We've got some renderings here. We want to have, some steeper roof pitches, some more curb appeal, just stepping it up a little bit for these homes, just so that they kind of blend into the neighborhood really well. And so that maybe we help the community understand that affordable housing isn't maybe what they think it is. Affordable housing can still be really beautiful, even if it is simple. So excited is an understatement for us getting this project underway. I wanted to share we've got a Kingsport Faith Build underway right now. So this is just around the corner up on West Winola behind Church Circle. So this home that we're building is for a single mother named Artisha. She's got 2 biological children. One is pretty severely disabled, mentally disabled, and then she is most likely becoming the long-term caretaker of her niece and nephew. So her family is expanding. We are building her a 4-bedroom, 2-bath on West Winola. We purchased this property from First Presbyterian Church, which was great. It's been so fun building behind the churches that are such steadfast partners of ours. So we've just had a ton of engagement on this project. A lot of local churches, I've got them named up here: First Pres, First Baptist, Calvary, Celebration Church, a lot of great partners. And what that looks like is a church saying, yes, we want to partner with you on this project and support this family. They make a financial contribution, typically $5,000, but that number is not written in stone. And then they adopt a week. So they might come out 2, 3, 4 days, volunteer with their congregation members. And, not all people want to swing a hammer, and that's okay. And so then there's other ways to support your congregation as you're working on the site. People got to eat. You got to bring lunch. We need prayer so that we can have a safe and productive and good experience. There's lots of different ways for community members to be involved. But I just wanted to give a shout out to all these volunteers. These pictures are from a week and a half ago when we had Eastman actually come out, and we had a couple of executives join us, which was a really fun experience. So this project will wrap up early June, and Artisha and her kids should be in the house sometime mid-July. So excited for this. And this is a great example of when a project is well supported, we get it done really quickly. From slab to keys, we can be about 13 weeks, which is pretty good. All right, one of the last things I want to share, because we're getting close on time. Last year, in our 40th anniversary, we did it all. We did Hurricane Helene recovery. We exceeded serving 400 families in our 40th year. We brought on a couple new events. We had a gala in the fall, but we also did an inaugural pickleball tournament last year that was just so much fun. We decided to do it again this year because nobody needs another golf tournament, right? We've got enough of those. So we're doing a pickleball tournament, and this is in partnership with Eastman Rec. Those guys do a great job planning tournaments, and it is just at a level that we couldn't have done ourselves. So Henry and Wendell at Eastman Rec do a great job putting this together. It's sponsored by Eastman Credit Union again this year. It is next week, so May 7th through the 9th. So it's 3 full days, 3 locations. One of the locations are the Riverside Courts here in Kingsport. We're also playing at E-Town in Elizabethton and at the Memorial Park Community Center in Johnson City. There's all different levels for all different skill sets. There's singles, doubles, same sex, different sex, money ball, novice, intermediate, advanced. And then when you're advanced, you're matched against your duper score, and your duper score is how you perform. It's so impressive to me. The level of play is really, really fun. So if you're interested, if you want to sign up, if you want to come watch, there's the information, and I'll tell you more after the meeting. All right, we made it to the finish line. So just a couple final comments before I'm happy to answer a few questions. So if you're thinking about what's next for Habitat, so this year we will likely serve around 40 to 45 families with critical home repairs and new homes. We'll be breaking ground on this new neighborhood in Johnson City, which is a multi-year project. We are advertising for homeownership applications. So if you know people in your circles, your civic groups, your church groups, your employer, whatever, if you would like to tell them about Habitat's homeownership program, we will begin accepting applications again as of June 1st. So we'll accept them during the month of June. I anticipate it will be highly competitive because of the nature of the need in our region. But we'll be advertising for the remaining 10 homes in the neighborhood. We already have 2 homes claimed. So 10 homes in Johnson City and 1 new build up in Bristol. Next year, we will advertise separately a new home in Kingsport. But for this cycle, we'll have 11 homes available. So please tell your network so that we can make sure we reach as many people as we can. Last 2 things I want to share. So you all remember that we are an affordable home builder. We have 0% interest mortgages, and that's how we keep these homes so affordable, right? So when a family moves in and we originate their loan, we look at the appraised value, but they're only ever going to pay an amount that is up to 30% of their household income at the time of closing. So as the home increases in value, as they get better jobs, the home only becomes more affordable to them, again, which is part of the mission. It's part of keeping their housing costs down so that they can enjoy the benefits of life, so that they can spend their disposable income on what it needs to be spent on. So we are the builder, we are the lender, but we also have our restores. So don't forget about the restore in Johnson City, in Kingsport. Our one is downtown, 750 East Main Street. I'll say right now that we're in a cycle of having not as much donated product as we would like to have. So if you're thinking about renovating your bedroom or your bathroom or your kitchens, I just invite you to drop off that bedside table you want to replace. Please don't take a sledgehammer to your cabinets. That's the fastest fundraiser we will ever have. A set of cabinets sells in 24 hours for $2,000 every time. So just, if you think it needs to go in the trash, think again. Think, could somebody get another little bit of life out of this thing that you're holding that you want to replace? Because it just might raise some money to build more homes for our community members. So think about the restore for donating, for shopping, and then think about people in your life, which may be you, maybe a friend. Does anybody you know own land that they would look to sell for a reasonable price or donate to Habitat? Our land bank is really, really lean. Now, we've got money set aside to buy land every year, but we've only bought one parcel this year just because it was competitive. It was the only thing that we could afford to buy, which, it was a $40,000 infill property. So I just share that to say we're in a place where luckily we have work lined up for 2 years, but we need to replenish our land bank. So if you know anybody with a small property, with a large property that is interested in selling, I would really like to talk to you about that because times are a little tough. That's what I've got. I don't want to keep you here too long. I appreciate you listening to the update about Holston Habitat, and I'll take some questions.